Welcome to yoga. My name's Louise and I've been teaching at Cal State San Marcos for about 9 years now. I teach the Tuesday and Thursday noon classes and it's been a wonderful experience. I've had many students, many faculty go through my classes, and I've had some students that have gone on to take a yoga teacher training, and for other students it's been their first introduction to yoga and they've become regular and strong practitioners and it's become part of their life. So welcome everybody. This is our first class of the semester, so we're going to approach it like it's your first ever yoga class, because maybe it is. But if you already have a seasoned practice, it's a chance to come back and revisit some of the poses that we really do in most of the yoga classes, and maybe just refine your alignment a little bit, kind of approach your today's practice with a beginner's heart. Maybe you'll remember taking these poses when you first started yoga. So the things that you'll need is your sticky mat, yoga mat, and yoga blocks are always great, 1 or 2. If you don't have blocks, be creative. You might find some large textbooks or something that you could use instead. They just bring the ground a little bit closer to you. And the other thing that always comes in handy is a yoga strap, but it doesn't have to be a yoga strap. It could be a belt, a tie, anything that you can find that's going to give you a little bit more length. So to begin with, we'll start seated. So if you have your block, you can place it underneath you. It's just going to give you a little bit of elevation, and that's going to really help to create length in your spine and begin to create a little openness in your hips. So yoga is a breath-based practice. You're going to hear me cueing you to breathe as we move through our flow. And it is always your approach each time you come to your mat as your own personal practice, what your body needs for that day. Also what you need mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Yoga, the word yoga comes from the Sanskrit word yug, which means to connect. And that's what we're doing here on our mat. We're making connections, body, mind, spirit. We're bringing everything together into one. It's a holistic practice. So as long as you're breathing, you're doing yoga. You could come down and rest, breathe, and just listen to the practice. Just make it your own. The great thing about yoga is there's no competition. You're just in it for yourself. And you decide what you want to get out of your practice. So right now, let your hands rest, maybe palms face down, or the backs of your hands rest on your thighs. Imagine your body's like a tree. So from the waist downwards, you're pressing down into the earth. It's like the roots of a tree. And the roots of a tree, the deeper they become, the more stability. And then you're lifting up out of the roots. So your whole seat is pressing down into the earth, which creates a little pressing down to create a lot of lift, all the way through your spine to the crown of your head. Imagine your spine is like the trunk of the tree. So it's reaching up towards the sky. And then from the trunk, you have your rib cage expanding outward. They're like the branches. So you're creating length. You're also creating space, a little width. Once you've found all of that, and you're sitting comfortably, close your eyes. And then just begin to notice your breath. Typically in yoga, we're inhaling and exhaling through the nose. But if you're a little stuffy, then, feel free to breathe in and out through your mouth. But just for the next few moments, just notice your breath. Notice the inhale. See if you can draw it as deep down into your body as you can. And then from that deep place, you're going to exhale, bring the breath all the way out. Have a sense that your breath is lengthening, deepening, and also there's a sense of your breath widening. And just begin to get comfortable with these nice full deep breaths in and out. And just this breathing, just this more mindful, deeper breath is already going to make little changes in your body. So in yoga, we match the movement to the breath. We allow the breath to be the guide for the pose, for the movement. Anytime you're a little too deep into the pose, the first thing you'll notice is your breath becomes a little more constricted. So you always want to find that happy medium in the pose, that place of balance where you can feel comfortable and breathe easily. And then we add a little movement to the breath. So on your inhale, you're going to sweep your arms up overhead. Reach up tall, and as you reach up tall, press a little bit more down through your seat. And then as you exhale, flip your hands down, all the way back down. Fingertips can touch the mat. And then inhale, lift. Flip your palms and exhale all the way back down. And it's almost like the movement is suspended in the breath. Inhale, reach. Last time, exhale, reach wide, reach your fingertips away from you. Nice, and then reaching up on your inhale. Bring your palms together overhead, and as you exhale, let your hands just come to your heart. And then just take a moment here, let your head bow to your heart. Close your eyes and just take an intention for your practice. Could be a phrase, something that you want to bring into your day. If you can't think of anything, then I invite you to bring a little sense of balance into your practice, into your day. We live in a world of polarities, light, dark, hot, cold. Our comfort lies in coming somewhere to the middle. And that's what we want to do in our practice. We don't want to push too hard, but then we don't want to just take it so easy that we're not getting any benefit from the practice. So always finding the middle ground. All right, and then let your hands come down to your sides. If you're sitting on your block, you're going to bring yourself off your block, bring that off to the side. And then lean back so you can change out the cross of your legs. And once again, have that sense from your waist moving down. Bring your fingertips to the mat, and then press down into your fingertips. So that's going to really help you lengthen up through your spine. Keep your left fingers down, and on your inhale, reach your right arm. And then maybe crawl your left fingers away as you exhale, reach, and then soften your gaze downwards. Take a couple of breaths here. So each inhale we take is lengthening, it's reaching upward. And then the exhale says a little hugging in and a softening quality. All right, the next time you inhale, you're going to reach that arm up. Exhale the right hand down behind you, cross your left hand to your right knee. Then inhale, which brings that length to your spine again. And then as you exhale, twisting to the right. Take a couple of breaths here. So each exhale, maybe soften a little deeper into your twist, but we're just starting class, so just, don't push too hard. Feel your hips, your legs, your feet pressing down into the earth. And on your inhale, you're going to unwind your twist, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, lower. And then this time, right hand stays down and left arm reaches. So we're just lengthening, just breathing, just warming up. Press a little bit more firmly down through your left hip and see how that changes your stretch. Nice. And then we're going to lift off the right hand as we inhale, come all the way up. And now we're going to twist to the left. And lifting tall through your spine as you exhale, twist. Your gaze is looking in the direction of your twist. And then just take a couple of breaths, just noticing how your breath feels. On your inhale, reach up overhead. As you exhale, lower your hands down in front of you. Walk your hands out, press back down through your sit bones. Tuck your chin in towards your chest, and then just soften down any amount into a forward fold. Awesome. On your inhale, you're going to bring yourself all the way back up. We'll do that again, but with the other leg in front. So recross your legs, walk your hands back out in front of you, and then exhale, soften down. So the more you press back through your sit bones, the more you might feel a little stretch in your low back. And anywhere where we're feeling the stretch, that's where we want to send the breath. So breathe as if you could send your breath into those areas in your lower back that you just feel opening up. Awesome. And then you'll walk your hands back in. Nice, roll yourself forward, and then we'll come on to hands and knees. So if you have your blocks, you're going to bring your blocks to the top of your mat. Nice, and then come on to all fours. So spread your fingers nice and wide. You want to make nice wide handprints. Your wrists are right under your shoulders. And then check in with your feet. Bring the tops of your feet down to the mat. Slightly press into the tops of your feet as you exhale, inhale, lengthen your heart forward and lift your sit bones. So you're arching out your spine. As you exhale, press into your hands and round. Nice. And then inhale, melt your heart, arching out your spine again. Exhale, round. So we're just sending energy down through our spine, starting to warm up, letting that movement be guided by our breath. So the inhales open everything up on our front body. As we exhale, we're rounding and opening up the back body. Nice. Inhale in. So you can stay with these movements. It's cat-cow. This is our cat. And then we inhale into our cow. Or we move a little bit deeper. The next time you exhale and round, drop your hips back to your heels and bring your forearms down. And then you're going to slide yourself through as you inhale. Lift yourself all the way up. Exhale, round. Bring yourself all the way back. Do this a few more times. So each circle of movement is a round of breath. Inhaling to lift us up. Exhaling to press us back down. Do one more of these. And then the next time you exhale, you're going to stay there. You could bring your knees wider, big toes to touch. You could stack your hands and rest your head on them, or use your block, or let your head rest down on the mat. So this is your resting pose, child's pose. Come down here anytime you just want to breathe. And then we're going to lift ourselves up out of child's pose. This time we're going to tuck our toes and walk our hands about half a handprint forward. And then lean forward so your shoulders come right over your wrists. Press down into your hands like you're pressing the earth away. And then you're going to press into the balls of your feet. Lift your knees up off the mat, just about an inch or two. And all of a sudden, everything starts to feel like it's working. So imagine from the periphery of your body, you're hugging and squeezing everything into the center. You're squeezing your forearms together. You're squeezing your shins together. You're pressing into your hands and your feet. But at the same time, you're creating some softness because you can still take those nice full breaths in and out. All right, we're going to take this up and back to downward facing dog. So we're going to straighten into one leg and bend into the other knee. And then we're going to change out. This is called walking out the dog. So you're just going to bend and straighten, start warming up the backs of your legs, nice and slow. Press one heel down, and then the other. And your heels might not even touch the mat, but that's not important. And then we're going to come to stillness. So lift your heels high, press your sit bones back, press down into your hands, and then melt your heels towards the earth. Take a nice full deep breath in and out. Nice. And then we'll come down to knee. So knees together. Now you're going to sit back on your heels. So if this bothers your feet or your knees, you can come back to child's pose. On your inhale, reach your arms up. So press down through your legs and then flip your palms. And as you inhale, reach up like you reach the sky, reach up towards the sky, pushing the ceiling away. This is the action that you want in your down dog. So you're pressing through your hands, shoulder blades are slightly lifted. Try and keep a little softness around the sides of your neck and your shoulders. All right. And then we'll bring our hands back down. Spread your fingers. Lift yourself back up to your downward facing dog and take some breaths. All right, so a good stance for our downward facing dog is to have maybe a little bit more distance between your feet and your wrists. Take an inhale here and bring yourself through to a high plank. So you've got your shoulders right over your hands, squeeze your shins together, press your tailbone back, hug your pubic bone slightly in and up. Take a breath, lots of length, and then see if you can press back to down dog without shifting your hands or your feet. And that's a pretty good distance for your hands and feet to be. All right, take one more breath in down dog, and then look towards your thumbs, and we're going to step our feet to our hands. So walk your feet forward. Look down at your feet. Bring them nice and parallel, and you want them about hips width apart. And then see if you could bring your hands down to the mat. And if you can, line your fingertips up with the tips of your toes. And then bend your knees any amount. Come into a forward fold. Create a little softness in your upper body here, so you might just rock a little from side to side. Let your head just hang, so that the weight of your head create a little softness through your jaw, your neck. And then see if you can shift your weight a little forward. Any amount straighten into your legs. And then we'll bring our hands to our shins. On your inhale, lift up halfway. Press your sit bones back, heart presses forward, shoulders relax away from your ears. Exhale, fold. The inhale, we're going to come all the way up to standing and reach tall. Beautiful. Exhale, lower your hands, and you're standing at the top of your mat. So now we're in Tadasana, mountain pose. So it's a steady, strong pose, like a mountain. Your feet want to be about hips width apart. Arms are by your side with your palms face forward. Coming back to that idea of your body being like a tree. From your waist downwards, it's like the roots of the tree, you're pressing down into the earth. Engage all four corners of both feet on the earth and press into them. And then lifting up through your spine, crown of your head. Feel that kind of widens through your torso. Spread your fingers. Find all of that, close your eyes. Come back to your breath. Feel how strong your legs are. You're kind of hugging the muscles of your legs onto the bone, but we're using our muscles, not our joints. So there's just a little softness around your knees. You're not locking your knees out. Take another full breath in. And as you inhale, float your arms up overhead. Take your right hand to your left wrist, and as you exhale, reach and stretch over to the right. So you can press your left hip a little bit more to the left side of your mat. Firmly press into both feet and your gaze look down. Awesome. Inhale, come all the way back up, and then we'll take that to the other side. So left hand takes right wrist. And then take a few breaths here, reaching and stretching. Really opening up through the right side there. Inhale, reach nice and tall. And then as you exhale, forward. Maybe getting a little bit straighter into your legs. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, soften and fold. Nice. Inhale, long, straight back. Brings you all the way back up as you press into your feet. And then exhale your hands to your heart. Find your strap. So we'll get a little bit more open across the front of our heart center. You're going to take your strap behind you, or whatever you're using in place of a strap. And then walk your feet just a little bit wider this time. Reach your knuckles down towards the earth. Press down through your tailbone, lift up through your heart, and lift your gaze. And then as you exhale, you're going to come all the way forward and down. And then give yourself enough room on the strap that your arms can lift up overhead, so you're getting a nice stretch. If your hands are clasped and they're here, you're not getting that shoulder opening. All right, take a couple of breaths. And as always, we come up on the inhale, so press into your feet, strong legs, inhale, lift you all the way up. Awesome. And then release your strap, you can bring that down to the mat. And just take a few breaths here to just roll out your shoulders. Okay, come back to the top of your mat. On your inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. Grow really tall as you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Keep your right foot at the top of the mat. Step your left foot all the way back. Nice. So now we're in a runner's lunge. Strong legs are pressing down towards the earth. And this back leg, you want this to be nice and strong. So press the back of your leg up towards the spine. So you're not like this. Okay, and then once you've found all of that, stack your right knee right over your right ankle. lower your back knee down. Walk your hands to the top of your thigh and then let your hips melt forward and down till you get a stretch for the front of the left hip, and let your arms come down by your side. All right, on your inhale, we're going to reach up overhead. Take a big stretch. As you exhale, reach your arms out in front of you. It's like you can reach your fingertips away. You keep your left hand there, and then you're going to sweep your right hand down and back. So now we're in a little bit more of a twist. So you can stay here, you're reaching your fingertips away from each other, or maybe take your right hand down to the inner left thigh, reach up overhead. And then maybe even reach a little bit with your left fingertips towards the right side of your mat. And notice if this changes how you're breathing. All right. On your inhale, we're going to come back to center. Beautiful. Exhale, float your hands down. If you've got the blocks, they're going to come in handy here to straighten through your right leg. All right, and then press your hips back. So you're not going to sit back. You're going to keep your hips high, and then you're going to press down through your right heel. Okay, and then just pressing down through your heel. See how it feels to just roll on the back of your hip. And that movement is not just your right foot, but it's your whole right leg. So we're moving the head of our femur, our thigh bone in our hip socket. And then notice how everything's feeling. If everything's starting to open up a little bit more, you could, with a nice long spine, exhale forward, fold over that front. And that's going to give you a little bit more of a stretch. Okay. We're going to walk the blocks back to the top of the mat. You have the option to keep your left hand down on the block or the mat. And then we're going to lift the left knee, press down into the left hand, and then open up and twist to the right. So anytime we're twisting, that can turn the breath off just a little bit. So see what's happening. On your exhale, lower your hand down. So instead of stepping forward, we're going to step the right foot back. Inhale, lift it high to a three-legged dog. And then bend your knees, stack your hips. Get a little bit more open here. Look back at your left knee, make sure it's facing forward. Yes, and then we're going to lower that foot down. Come back to down dog. All right, on your inhale, press down into your right foot. We're going to lift the left leg. And then we're going to do the same here. Bend your knees, stack your hips. All right. And then straighten out your leg. Look forward. As you exhale, lift yourself up away from the mat and step your left foot through. All right, press equally into both feet. Right leg strong, pressing back of your legs, pressing up towards the sky. Make sure that your left shin is nice and vertical, and then lower your knee down. Bring your hands to the top of your thigh, melt your hips forward and down till you feel the stretch in the front of your right hip. And then hands reach down. As you're ready, inhale, reach up. Maybe lift your gaze. All right, as you exhale, reach your arms out in front of you, and then the left arm's going to keep reaching back as you come into your twist. Staying here or taking that option to create a little bit more of a stretch, a little bit more of a shoulder opener. Beautiful. Good job, guys. And then inhale, reach up tall. Exhale, hands down. Maybe find your blocks, bring them down to the mat. And then we're going to stretch out the left leg. Hug your toes up towards you. Gently press into your heel. Roll your left foot a little bit over to the left and the right. Know what feels good in your body. Because if anything doesn't feel good, anything gets painful, then you're going to want to stop, back off. Last option is maybe find a little deeper forward fold. So you want to keep your spine long, you're not kind of rounding too much. So then we'll come all the way back. Hands come down to the mat. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and then we're going to twist to the left. So right hand stays down, heart spins open to the left, and your arm reaches up. All right. right, take a couple more breaths here. And then to exhale, we're going to lower. This time we're stepping it forward. So maybe walk your hands a little bit in front of you. You could do a couple of little steps or one nice big step. Bring your right foot back to meet it. Hands to your shins, inhale. Exhale, forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, your hands to your side. Good job. Bring yourself now to stand on the long side of your mat. Bring your feet nice and wide, toes face forward. Bring your hands to your hips. Find all four corners of both feet so you're equally pressing into the inner and outer edges of your feet. All right, so warrior two, we're going to go to the right side first. So you're going to turn your right toes out and maybe turn your left toe slightly in. So if you look at your right heel, it's lining up with the arch of your left foot. And then once you've found all of that, arms reach out. And then your gaze is going to look along the middle finger of your right hand. Notice what's happening behind you. In this pose, we have a tendency to kind of lean where we're going. So you want to pull your shoulders over your hips. Press firmly into both feet. All right, and then turn your right palm up. On your inhale, reach your right arm up overhead. And then you're going to take your left hand to your right wrist. And use that to create a little stretch that's going to come out of your right hip. Press firmly into your feet. Remember the legs, feet are rooting downwards. Everything above the waist is lengthening upwards. Beautiful. Keep everything, but reach your arms back out to warrior two. And then straighten into your right leg. So you want to hug just above the knee. Keep the knee nice and protected. And then as you exhale, press your hips back and reach forward. Lower your right hand down. Lift your left arm up. So this is triangle pose. So your feet are making the base of the triangle. Your lifted left fingers are the apex. So press into your base, lift up through your left fingertips. Take a nice full breath. All right, and we'll come all the way back up. Back to warrior two. Last pose we'll do on this side. Take your left hand to your hip. Bring your right forearm down to your thigh. And then open up your left shoulder, so you're spinning your heart towards the sky. And then you're going to reach your left arm up. So this is the basic pose. You can straighten a little bit. Just lift your forearm away from your thigh. If you like to go deeper, maybe your hand will reach all the way down to the mat. And wherever you are, make sure you can take those nice full breaths. And then we're going to come all the way back up. All right, take your hands back to your hips. And then let's change out the way we have our feet. So now we're going to the left side. Left toes turned towards the back edge of your mat. Heels lined up with the arch of the right foot. Hips and shoulders are squaring that long side of your mat. And then you're going to bend into your knee, reach your arms out. And gaze in the direction that your left fingertips are pointing. Alright, so maybe sink a little deeper into your hips. Find the pose and take some breaths. And then left palm reaches up. Inhale, reach up. Catch your left wrist with your right hand. And be gentle because you don't want to dislocate your shoulder, but you're just lengthening. That's good. All right. Soften into your breath. Take one more here. And then we're releasing the arms, straightening into the left leg, pressing well into both feet as we exhale, reach away. And then inhale into the left. So if you imagined that you were kind of sandwiched between two panes of glass, feel like you could press your shoulders back a little bit. Press the back of your head back. If you peek down, you want your head to be right over your left foot. Last breath here. We always come up on the inhale, so soften into your left knee, back to warrior two, right hand to your hip, left hand to your thigh, and left forearm to your thigh. Okay, so side angle pose. So if we think of ABC, this is A. B would be lifting your forearm away from your thigh, which makes your legs work a little harder. C would be coming a little deeper. So find what's right for you. Inhale all the way back up. Hands to your hips. Beautiful. Turn your feet to face forward. Roll your shoulders up and back. Close your eyes for a moment. Notice how strong your legs have become. Hopefully there's a little freedom in your upper body. So maybe refinding your strap. We're going to reach our hands back behind us. Clasping your hands, if your shoulders are super open, you can reach back behind you. Maybe bring your hands together in a reverse namaste. But you want to, if you're doing that, don't just have your fingertips touching, you want the whole hand. And if that's not working, clasp your hands. All right, inhale here, lift your heart and your gaze. Press into the mat as you exhale, come halfway forward. Shift your weight a little forward. And then the next exhale, come down a little deep. All right, take some breaths. And then to come out, we're lifting on the inhale, pressing into our feet strongly and firmly, and floating all the way up. Release your arms. Take a stretch up. And lower your hands and roll out your shoulders. All right, let's play with a little balance. So come back down, bring your fingertips to the mat. If they don't come down to the mat, maybe you can find your blocks. And then you're going to walk your hands over towards your right. Bend into your right knee, so you can stay right here. If you have knee issues, then it's best to stay a little higher. If you want to come down deeper, you're going to kind of sit down on your right heel. Your hands could be on your blocks or the mat. And then you want to lengthen up through your spine. And then maybe you're going to turn your left toes up towards the sky. And then maybe you just need one hand on your block. One hand comes to your heart. Keep breathing, maybe both hands. And you find a little moment of balance. Okay. Lower your hands down. We're going to walk everything over to the other side, so lift your hips. Slowly walk over to the left leg. And then soften down. All right, same thing here. Your whole right foot could stay on the mat, or maybe you're going to spin your toes up. Sit nice and tall, so it's hard to balance if you're leaning over. You want to sit nice and tall. Press down to maybe create a little balance. Nice. Keep breathing. Lower your hands. Come back to center. And then as you exhale, reach your first two fingers and thumbs for your big toes. Maybe walk your feet a little wider. And then as you exhale, bend into your elbows. Come all the way down. So in essence, imagine that you could put your torso through that space you're making with your legs. Right. Sit bones press back, both feet press. Hands come back underneath you, and then lift yourself up halfway. Press into your feet, come all the way up. And then we're going to bring our feet together so you can walk them in or hold. Okay. Always coming back to Tadasana, it's a chance to just recheck in. So hands by your side, heart lifts, feet press, close your eyes, come back to the breath. We'll do one more balance pose here. So shake out your legs, coming into tree pose. So rock a little forward, rock a little back. Find your balance on all four corners of both feet. And then bring your hands to your hips. Root down through your right leg. Remember, your legs are rooting downwards, connecting to the earth. Lift your left heel, spin your left foot out to the side. So tree pose could be right here. Or you could pick your foot up just to the inside of your calf, below your knee. You don't want to press your foot into your knee. Or come all the way up. So there's a slight squeezing and hugging in as I'm pressing down. Hands come to your heart. Come back to your breath. That's going to help you balance, as is finding something just to let your gaze land, preferably if it's not moving. And then reach up. Take some breaths. So we want to come in and out of poses as gracefully as we get to the pose, the pinnacle of the pose. So to come out of this, stand strong on your right foot, bring your left leg to face forward and flex your foot. Stay here or extend out through your left foot. And it's looking good to shake that side out. All right, one more side. So hands face forward. Find your balance right here in Tadasana before you lift your foot. And then press down through your left foot, right heel lifts, knee comes out to the side. So pick your poison, stay here, or move to the deeper part of the pose. Root down, lift up tall, hands to your heart. All right, stay here or reach up. Make some branches to a tree. And if you're really wobbly, you can always use the support of a wall or a piece of furniture. Awesome. So come out, hands come back to your heart. Bring your right leg to face forward. Flex your foot, bend your knee, and then maybe extend out through your foot. And then lower it down. Hands back to your sides. All right. Turn back to face the long side of your mat. All right, and on your inhale, reach up. On your exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. And then bring your hands down, step your feet back, come back to your downward facing dog. All right, and your inhale, press forward to your high plank and take some breaths. Exhale, back down. Walk your left foot in towards the center of your mat and inhale, reach your right leg up behind you. Three-legged dog. Inhale here. As you exhale, draw your knee in towards your chest. Little strengthening. Inhale, press it back. Exhale, draw your knee and then tap your right elbow. Inhale, press back. This time I'm going to draw the knee across, tap the left elbow. And inhale, press back. Exhale, lower your foot. And take a couple of breaths. And then we do that on the left side, so left leg lifts. Moving on your exhale. Inhaling back. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale back. All right, next exhale, lower your foot down. Lower your knees down. Press it back and come to child's pose. All right, from child's pose, walk your hands in. Come back up to your hands and knees, and then we're just gonna do a little stretch for our wrists. So you're gonna bring the back of the right hand down. And then flip your palm down with your fingers facing back towards you. Press into your fingertips, maybe press your hips back so you get a little bit more stretch in the front of your wrist there. And then shake that out. And then let's do the same with the left hand. So back of your hand on the mat, roll out the back of your wrist. Sometimes you can hear the little crunchy sounds. So this is a good stretch because we spend a lot of time on our phones, our computers. Alrighty, and then we're going to flip fingertips towards you, palm down. Press into your fingertips, maybe let your hips press back a little bit, just till you feel the stretch. Where you feel the stretch, stop and breathe. Okay. And then release that out. Nice. So 2 brand new hands. Bring them down to the mat. Nice wide handprint. Spread your fingers. Tuck your toes. Lift up and back to downward facing. All right. Take some breaths. Walk your feet out towards the outside edges of your mat. Walk your hands back to your feet. And then come down to Malasana squat pose. Be mindful of your knees. So if you do have knee injuries, you're going to be way more comfortable in a high spot. All right. See if you can bring your heels down. If you turn your toes out, widen your feet. Your heels might come down to the mat. And then you're going to hug your thumbs in towards you, lift your hug, let your tailbone down. So we'll play with an arm balance here. It's crow pose. And all of the arm balances that we do in yoga, when we move into the more advanced ones, begin with this pose. If you have blocks or you have cushions, there's many ways to come into this with a little more support. You want to have nice wide handprints. If you're going to balance, you don't want your fingers all squished together, okay? You also want to have your wrists open enough so that the whole palm comes down. Okay, and then you're going to lift it up. So look towards the top of your mat. Bring your knees into as high as you can on the backs of your arms and lift your hips. And then hands down. So more than lifting up, you're playing with momentum. So lean forward, your toes are going to get really light. And then maybe just lift one. If it feels good, you can lift both. And then you're going to press down into your hands. See if you can get your toes to touch. And then do a light little dismount. Good job. If you have crow, maybe take a couple more options to come in and out of it. If you have blocks or something, one of the ways that's easier to come into it is bring your feet up on blocks, and then you're already halfway lifted. Or if you feel that you're going to topple over, you could bring a block, and then you've got your hands and your forehead on the block. Okay, so it's one to play with. Our yoga practice is a journey. It's not a destination. There's always poses to work up to. So that might be an easy pose for you, or it might be a little challenging. If it's more on the challenging side, that's okay. You know, as you get stronger and more flexible, then you open up to it. Alrighty. So just kneeling, come onto your mat. Close your eyes. And back to your breath. Just notice how your body feels. Yoga is always about the breath connection, mind, body, spirit connection, finding out who you are on a deeper level. It's not about the poses. That's kind of the showy part of yoga. It's just a small part of the entire practice. And the whole point of the poses is to be able to allow your body to sit for longer periods of time when you come into meditation. All right, take another breath here. And then we're going to come down to rest on our backs. So, bring yourself to seated. Take your hands behind your thighs, walk your feet in, lift your heart, and then maybe lift your feet. So this is boat pose. This is a good core strengthener. And a lot of these poses that we do require a little strength in the core. So maybe you reach your arms out. If your back bothers you, keep your hands on the backs of your thighs. And then maybe extend your legs. All right, so take about 3 more breaths here, keeping your heart lifted. And then when you're ready to come out, take your hands back to your thighs, feet back to the mat. And then you're just going to roll all the way down. Come onto your mat. So knees are bent, heels are lined up with your sit bones, arms are down by your side. All right, keep your left foot on the mat. Pick up your right foot, hug your right knee in, and then cross your right ankle over the top of your left knee. Take your right hand to your inner right thigh, just kind of the meaty part of the inner thigh, and then just press it away. So the option would be to stay here, or take both hands, lace them behind your left thigh, and then pick up your left foot. So reclined pigeon, this is a great hip opener. To get a little bit more out of the pose, hug your left knee in towards you, which is going to bring your right shin closer towards you. And then take some breaths, breathe into anywhere where you can feel the pose. Maybe let your left knee come a little bit over to the left side of your mat. And then you might find a little bit more of a stretch kind of in the outer right hip. Last option is extend your left leg up towards the sky. And maybe point flex, make some circles. All right, press down through your sacrum, those flat bones at the base of low back. Bend back into your left knee, and then step your foot back on the mat. Okay, we're going to uncross the right leg. Repeat this on the left side, so you're going to cross the left ankle over the right knee. Maybe press your left thigh away. Or pick up the right foot, hug everything in, keep both feet nice and flexed. Keep your shoulders relaxed and heavy, back of your head. Hug your right knee in a little closer, and maybe extend your foot up towards the sky. And maybe just release out, going circles, point and flex. And bend back into your right knee, set your right foot back on the floor, and roll your left foot down. All right, walk your feet a little closer in towards you, bring your hands down by your side, and then you're going to press into your feet, press into the backs of your arms to lift your hips up off the mat. So bridge pose. Hands could stay here, or maybe work your arms under your shoulders, clasp your fingers. All right, reach your tailbone away from your shoulders. Take a nice big breath in and out. And then to release bridge pose, we're going to release the hands, lift the heels, and exhale everything back down to the mat. Perfect. All right, stay in neutral just for a breath or two. And then you're going to pick your knees up, take your hands to your knees, and then just roll out your knees in circles. And then go the opposite way. And then bring your knees back in. Extend your right leg along your mat, flex your right foot. Hug your left knee in. And then taking your right hand to your left knee, bring your left hand out to the side, and then as you exhale, come over into a twist. And then you could turn your gaze to the bone for your left shoulder. Take some breaths. All right, inhale, bring that knee back to center. Extend your left leg out. Draw your right knee in, and then exhale, draw the right leg across your body. Right arm reaches out to the side. So So we're starting to cool down. Get some nice stretches in before we come into our final pose, Shavasana. Gently unwind, come back up on an inhale, hug both knees in, maybe lift your shoulders up off the mat, squeeze everything in. Bring your shoulders back down, last moment to maybe reach for the outside edges of your feet. Hug your knees down towards you and come into a happy belly. You could rock a little bit from side to side. And then we'll move into our last pose. So Shavasana, it's kind of the art of doing nothing. This is where all the energy and everything that we produce through our practice starts to work its way into our body. So relax yourself out along your mat, let your hands rest by your sides, palms face up. And then gently close your eyes. And then just begin to notice from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. You want to bring as much softness, relaxation, heaviness into your body as you can. So relax the space between your eyebrows, the muscles of your face. Notice if your teeth are clenched together and relax your jaw. Feel both shoulders get heavy and both arms all the way down to the wrists. Allow a softness to radiate from the center of your palm to your fingertips. Torso is heavy. Your hips are heavy. Thighs relaxed. Shins relaxed. Heels resting on the mat and your toes just rolling out towards the outside of your feet. Take a big breath in. Softly close your eyes. You'll be here for a couple of minutes. Shavasana. Allow your breath to gradually deepen. And then with that deeper breath, allow yourself to come out of your Shavasana, bringing a little wiggle into your fingers and to your toes. It might feel really nice to start to reach up overhead, find a stretch. Any last movements that feel really good. And then gradually, as you're ready, roll yourself over to one side of your mat. And use that idea of rooting down to lift up. So take your hands, bring them down and press into the earth so you can come back up to seated. Letting your hands rest either face down or face up on your thighs. So we've come full circle right back to where we started. Close your eyes, just notice if anything's changed. Come back to any intention that you set for your practice. And then as you're ready, bring your palms back together in your heart center, just sealing that energy at your heart and soften down your head. Good job. We'll add on as we move through these sessions. We'll start with the basics. We'll move into some bigger poses. There's always the options to stop anywhere where you feel comfortable. So just take a moment of gratitude to yourself for showing up, for doing your practice. And then I hope you join me again. Thank you guys. Namaste.